Vengo a recordarte ese poder.
Welcome everybody! This is Matri, and here today we are with the lovely Chloe! Hello Chloe, welcome!
Hi, Matri. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yes, we are so excited to have you. And I want to invite you in this moment to have a conversation with me from uterus to uterus, from womb to womb. How does it feel to you?
I feel excited to do that. I don't think I've ever spoken as my uterus.
This is so exciting. So I have some questions for you. And I will say the first one is, and I want to invite everybody to ask yourself, how is your womb doing today?
She really likes being asked that question. She's like, "You're asking me?"
Yeah.
And she's a little tired, but like happy, peaceful. How's your womb?
Well, I am very energetic right now. I'm very excited to having this conversation with another womb, and just being in the flow and like with a lot of curiosity and excitement for giving voice to your womb. So I'm very excited, I will say. And what does your womb feel happy about?
What does my womb feel happy about? The words that come are magic and flow and the feeling of being sensual and feeling its way through life.
Tell me a little bit more about that magical feeling.
There's like a mystery to the womb that I feel. It's like dark in there, yet it's this seed of creation, and there's a lot of wisdom. I work a lot with my intuition. That's what I teach, and that's what I love, and that like the womb is a big part of that intuition, actually, of that guiding, of that knowing what's good for me and what's good for others. If someone's asking, just that feminine wisdom comes a lot from the womb.
Oh, this is so sweet to my ears, to my fallopian tubes. Oh. Intuition. Are you listening? Intuition. Just by touching our wombs, listening to our wombs, we connect with this power of intuition. And Chloe, tell me, what does your womb feel sad about?
It wants more attention. It wants more slowness. It wants more of that gentleness, that not as much of, I have to do this at this time, more flow, more unstructured time. It's almost like it wants to have more space and more time to just flow and relax, feel.
Yeah, so there's like a deep need, to feel like even more connected with your womb. And you're speaking about giving space. Can you tell us a little bit more about what does that mean, like the creating space?
Yeah. So it feels like it's both energetic, or the way in which I relate to it. So the way my mind or my attention connects to my womb, instead of like when you go like really focused on something, say you have a task or you're running a race,
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that like imagining, like with my mind, the quality of my attention towards my womb being relaxed, spacious, and slow and calm and magical and cuddly. Just really cuddly.
Oh, I'm loving this conversation. It's like listening to you. It feels like even more space within myself, and it's like your sweet words make me like feel more in the flow and more connected with myself. And I hope that all of you that are watching, you can feel that space when you listen to Chloe's words, to her womb. Remember, we are speaking from our wombs. So everything that Chloe's womb is sharing with us, I'm just really feeling it in my body. It's like this big, deep expansion and this tenderness and sweetness, and feels really, really good. And Chloe, can you tell me, when did you discover the power inside your womb?
I would say I unconsciously, or like I wasn't aware of it, but I knew to listen to my body from actually a really young age, especially because I used to play sports and I would study really hard and then I would just need to rest for like a month after finals. So high school was the beginning of listening to my body. But then as I got older, I started to realize that my body was telling me when to be friends with someone, when to not be friends, when to pursue a career opportunity, that my womb would really guide me into areas of magic in my life that I couldn't quite explain with my mind, but then would open up all these opportunities.
And how do you know it was your womb who was leading you?
Because it's like I'd feel sensations in my stomach area.
I know that. It's like, feels like almost butterflies, but it's not about like typical butterflies when you fall in love, but it's like this tingling, energetic thing that happens in your womb. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes I would feel nauseous. And then I would know that something was up. Like, there's either fear or this isn't the right thing for me right now.
So it feels like you were very connected when you were young, right? Very sensitive and like a good listening to your body.
Yeah, pretty good actually. I always felt very connected to my body.
How do you feel today, like, now in your life?
Yeah, I feel actually still very connected to it. I think there was a period in my middle of college to mid 20s where I felt disconnected, and then I decided that I wanted to be connected again. So I went traveling and I changed my whole life to get reconnected to my body, and now it guides everything. My intuition, my womb wisdom, it's how I make most of my decisions.
Wow. And can you tell us a little bit like that phase when you said that you got disconnected? Like what happened? What made you disconnected?
Well, my dad died when I was 18, and I think it was very sad. It was very, very sad and scary and hard. And I didn't really, I think I was experiencing too much emotion that it just was very confusing at that time. And so I had a good therapist, thank God. And then I got caught up in like what sometimes young people get caught up in, like partying, not too much, but like a lot of going out and wanting to fit in and going to bars. Not all the time, but just it became more about what was outside of me than what was inside fully. But then after college, I graduated and I moved from New York City to San Francisco, and that helped me get back connected because in San Francisco I was able to be in nature more, and that really helped me reconnect to myself. was being in parks and by the ocean and hiking.
That's exactly the next question that I was going to ask you. Like, what resources do you use to reconnect and to connect with your womb?
So nature has
Mhm.
has always been my number one. Even when I was a kid, we lived in a great house that had all this nature around it. So I'll go hiking, I'll go to the beach. I also meditate. I love meditating. So just getting quiet and noticing the sensations in my body, noticing my breath, putting my hands on my womb, on my heart, and actually talking to friends sometimes. You know, if I have a really good friend and we'll listen to each other and do it slowly, and then dance. That's a big one for me. I love dancing.
Oh yes, dance is so important to help us unlock our hips and like move and like, you know, because wombs are alive and they need to move, you know, and when we like dance and we touch ourselves, how you're explaining is like you transmit that vibration and we listen. We, the wombs, were very wise, let me tell you. We listen really, really strongly. So when you touch us, we listen and we immediately react because we're so connected. You know, wombs, hearts, body, soul. That's so nice. And can I ask you a more like personal, maybe could be a sensitive question? You just let me know if it feels okay with you. Yeah.
Sure.
So the next question is about what's one of the biggest pains that your womb carries or used to carry?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest one is when I was younger, sometimes I would have sexual relations or intimacy when I didn't fully want to, but I felt maybe a little pressure. No, not in like a mean way, but I felt like I needed to do that to like be loved or to stay in a relationship. So that was very hard on my womb.
Yeah. How did your womb feel when you let other people go into your womb, into your sacred place?
Betrayed. Like it lost a little bit of trust in me to take care of it. So almost like a child that was like, why did you do that to me? And then the feeling is like tension, tightness, and disconnection.
Yeah. Let's everybody take a deep breath. So what Chloe is sharing with us is so important. It's such a good reminder that we need to be true to ourselves. And the most important is how we feel with ourselves. And that we don't have to prove anything to anybody. Taking care of our wombs, of this sacred temple, is so important. Whole well-being, right? Because Chloe is mentioning, she kind of betrayed, her truth because she wanted to feel loved, of course, and that's so human. But how you can see how that affected many aspects, her emotions, of her state of mind, right?
And the relationships, because then the relationship had an inauthenticity in it. And it's hard to build a really deep love with someone if there's something I'm hiding or I'm not being authentic. So it actually resulted in me having less fulfilling romantic relationships. And the more true I am to what I'm feeling, even though if it's not what the other person seemingly wants at the time, the long-term result is a deeper connection and a deeper closeness and a deeper love.
Wow, there's so much here. There's so much to digest with what you just said. So I wanted also to ask you, what's the biggest or greatest moment your womb has experienced?
The biggest or greatest moment. What's coming up is the moments when I really listen to her. And some that come to mind come around moving. or big decisions in life. Like I'll visit a place sometimes and I'll just fall in love with the place. And I'll listen and then move there. I've done this like 3 times. And the reason it feels like such a big deal is because I'm just really taking this leap of faith that my womb is telling me to do and guiding me, not even telling me, guiding me and showing me how magical it will be if I move to this place. And then it always is.
Wow.
So it's really a cool thing that, I get the sensation and the feeling in my womb, and then I take the action.
I can hear her womb. She's happy. She's talking. Yes. And do you know the difference when you take a decision from your womb and from another place? Like from your mind or from your heart? Or what's the difference? And how will you describe that feeling when it comes from the womb, that from other places?
That's a really good question. So the mind, it'll feel more like analytical, and it's literally, there's a location. Like I'll feel sensations in my head, in my mind.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's useful to make decisions from my mind, like if I'm doing a math problem, financial calculations. And then my heart, I'll feel sensations in my heart, and I'll feel like an opening or a tightness in my heart, my chest area. And then with my womb, similarly, it's very sensation based. But then there's another distinction, because there's the sensation of like intuition. And then there's like emotional patterning or conditioning or reactivity or fear that might come up. And so I make sure to address that if that's coming up, so that I can get to this deeper, it's like a really deep sensation that's different, a normal emotion. It's like I'm being pulled from the core of my being to that thing, as opposed to the emotions, which maybe feel a little bit further out from the center. And sometimes I get confused, and then I have different practices that I'll do to get clear.
Wow, this makes so much sense. I'm just, while you're talking, I'm just feeling that actually our wombs are this very, very dark place. And dark doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just, it's like when you think about it, we all come from the womb, from that dark place. Just think about it. When you think about darkness, it feels deep, like deep and internal for some reason, right? Feels like internal. You just go inside. It's like this wise woman or wise elder that lives inside ourselves.
Definitely.
And what I hear is like with practice and with awareness, right? What you're saying, like, the slowing down and like noticing your body, you feel attuned to it. So you start developing that listening, right? Because it takes, it's a process, that we need to start inviting ourselves to practice every day.
I couldn't agree more. You're very wise, Matri.
Well, our wombs, your womb, and me, that we are wombs, very, very wise wombs, we all are. We all are connected. We all know the wisdom of the universe, of creation. So, a last question for us, for all of us, like the last gift. Can you give us a last word from your womb to the world? What does your womb wants to tell the world? What's that advice, that word, that wisdom?
She says, walk with gentleness and strength. And that they're complementary, actually. Yeah. And to really make that space and time for our wombs to guide us, to have like this beautiful spaciousness, how we started. But that's what she's just really wanting everyone to know and to deepen into, is to really give ourselves that space, that gentleness.
A space and gentleness, my dear people. So So this is the lovely Chloe. Let's do a little dance. This is Matri. Woo! Mwah! Mwah! Keep watching me. Subscribe, like, and follow me in social media. Mwah! Mwah!